Good fucking evening, people. Not the way I wanted to start my stream. Apologies for the language. No apologies. Sorry, no apologies. I will. There'll be a lot of explicit language in the stream, so watch out. Yeah, Manchester United lost to Tottenham 1-0. What do I expect? Well, we're gonna get into that. Premier League week 25 review, or is it even week 26? I don't even remember. It's week 25, isn't it? It's week 25.
Yeah, 25.
I forgot how many weeks are left. I'm just counting down the amount of weeks that are left in the Premier League, the amount of games that are left. I can't wait for the season to end. I can't wait for the season to end. At the start of the season, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm seeing some signs. Okay, nah, I should never have hope anymore in this team. Josh, welcome back to the channel. It's been a week and a half, but we're here to talk. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm fine personally. From a footballing perspective, since I last hopped on here to celebrate our humbling of Manchester City, we have since been knocked out of the Carabao Cup and beaten Leicester 2-0. With such an insipid performance, I was ripping up my hair until the final 10 minutes. In regards to if you want me to go straight into the Arsenal performances, if you're okay with that.
We'll get into the Arsenal games just in a moment, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't mean to be selfish, but we'll start with Manchester United.
Biggest game of the weekend.
The El Mítico. That went well. That went very, very well. I have two records to read out today. Two records, two stats that I came out with today, or not. I came out with that I discovered. Two records have been broken. Tottenham hadn't won a Premier League home game for almost 3 months until guess who won? Manchester United, and I've been saying this on streams this week. Spurs hadn't done the double over Manchester United for 35 years.
I heard about it.
I also added that United have failed to score a goal in both games against Spurs in the league this season. Sums it all up. United once again, week in, week out. Okay, look, to be fair with you, I didn't expect anything much from today's game. I did predict a win. I did. All right? I did predict a win. And I thought we were going to win. Looking like in the second half, we looked like we were going to, score a goal.
Push on.
I guess I was wrong. I'm not disappointed with the second half performance. I'm disappointed in how the game ended. It should not have ended in a loss. We should have won that game. With the amount of chances we had. Garnacho, oh my days, bro. Jesus Christ. Somebody tell me, how is this guy still playing week in, week out for United? How? Garnacho has been nothing short of an absolute shame. He has been completely shameful. His performances have been an utter shame. I don't think I can pick out one performance this season and be like, do you know what? He's played well. I can't pick one out. I really can't. That was a complete haul of shame from both Rasmus Højlund and Alejandro Garnacho today. That miss in the first half, blind me.
What the one way finessed over the bar from about 12 yards out?
How did he sky from at least 8 yards out, 5 yards out?
That was terrible.
You need to be hitting the target from that angle, man. I'm sorry. How do you miss that? People were talking about he's becoming it reminds me of Carlos Tevez. What? Carlos Tevez? Carlos fucking Tevez, the guy who was bagging in goals that won Manchester United the Champions League in 2008. Crespo, when he came to the Premier League, was he that great? No. But he was still better than Alejandro Garnacho. Crespo, I'm not comparing Alejandro Garnacho to Crespo. No way in shape or form I'm comparing them to. But there are so many players I can pick out that actually plays better than Alejandro Garnacho. Kleberson, better than Garnacho. Gabriel Obertan, better than Alejandro Garnacho.
That is crazy.
Jemba, better than Alejandro Garnacho. People can say
Turned
what they
up for
want.
you in the final.
People can say what they want.
Scored for you in the final.
Literally, he won us a trophy as well. Garnacho, to be fair with you, won us an FA Cup.
That's what I meant.
But at the same time, if your performances are dipping like this, I have to call it out. I had hope for this guy. I did. I was giving him my full backing up until this season, where I felt, I can't. If United can get rid of Adnan Januzaj, who was the next promising player for us in 2.5 seasons, surely you could get rid of Alejandro Garnacho. The guy is not even, bro. The guy's playing like he's playing against us. Go look at the second half, or at least one of the first, or one of them in the first half that missed. Right. Apart from that, go look at the second half performance, where he failed to cut back. He failed to cut back, and we could have scored. Hoyland was in the box, missed another chance. Like, what am I supposed to? Why am I supposed to deal with this? Look, Martial, when he came in, he played well. He came off the left, came off the right, scored goals for us. He made some good runs in behind, finished his chances well. Scored one of the most important goals in Manchester United's history post Sir Alex Ferguson. Scored the FA Cup semi-final winning goal against Everton to send us to the final. That won us the FA Cup that year. Look, we've not signed a proper striker since Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Sorry, Cristiano Ronaldo. That was a sign that people would be like, oh, but Ronaldo was the problem. But what did he do that was the problem, though? What did he do? Hoyland's doing exactly the same things you called Ronaldo out for, if not worse. Guy can't even touch a ball. Can't even take his chances. Guy's going to score a goal in 3 months. Almost. He's not scored a goal in the league for 3 months. Or 2 months. I can't remember how long it was. The Forest game at Old Trafford was the last game he scored. And since then, he's just not showed up. How many more chances are you going to give this guy? How many more chances are you going to give Alejandro Garnacho? How many more chances are you going to give Bruno Fernandes, who dropped another stinker, by the way, today? People are still saying he's worn out. No, he's not. If he's hoofing the ball long, he's not worn out. He's just clueless. He's not worn out. You know? Onana, how do you not parry that? Just hold on to the ball. Literally, just hold on to it. Why'd he let loose again, and the Madison was there to pounce. 1-0 Tottenham. That was the game. You know, we've got massive issues, man. Ruben Amorim needs to fix this. He needs to change things up. We're not picking up results in the league. We're picking up results elsewhere. We're not picking up results in the league. We're getting results in Europe. We're getting results in the FA Cup. We were getting results in the Carabao Cup up until the Tottenham game. Man, you watched the game today. You can give me your views on it, because I'm trust me, I'm really pissed right now.
Well, you know how Sky Sports market Sunday games as Super Sunday. That really was not fitting with the Super Sunday game. What that game was a team in 14th playing against a team in 15th, and the quality really showed. It was such a dreadful game. Honestly, I was getting annoyed. If you replaced United and Spurs with Southampton and Leicester, you would not bat an eyelid to the quality of football on display. Genuinely, you would not think that was Manchester United and Spurs going at it. Now, I think there is a reason for that, obviously, with the increased fixture congestion. particularly international wise. I feel like you see the amount of players that are getting injured. I mean, Spurs, they have pretty much their whole back four out. And United, you have Mainu out for the season now. I believe you have Diallo out for the season. Obviously, the quality of football is going to drop in general. So I think that is a good reason why. But as well as that, no substitutions until you sub on a 17-year-old in the 92nd minute, and he
Which is
doesn't even get a touch of the ball.
time from you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a bloody good player. I'll give him that. Obviously, I wasn't giving him abuse because, I go outside, unlike some of these online fans. But at the end of the day, how are you not? I understand that Lindelof was the only senior player on your bench. Yeah. But at the end of the day, surely you've got to try something. Thing is about youth players, they won't be scared to give it a go. They won't be scared to make mistakes because they want to prove themselves. Why not just be active? It's the history of your club, and I don't think Amarim gets that. That's the impression I get. You think back to the Busby Babes, the class of '92. You even look at the likes of Rashford and the trophies he's won. Admittedly, with I know you're not a fan of Rashford and whatnot, but you look at the history of your club. You've always placed emphasis on youth, on the academy,
Yeah,
and the fact that Amarim hasn't utilised that academy at all in the game where you were chasing against a team that you want to finish above, presumably, to make your league position look slightly less awful. I think it's just really poor from him, and I was quite disappointed by that. In terms of the game, really poor goal to concede from United. That Garnacho chance, I mean, I know you're criticising Bruno, but that was an absolute peach of a pass into him. Brilliant vision, and how Garnacho doesn't get that on target. I think he's 14 straight games without a Premier League goal now. The guy is critically low on confidence. You were trying to get rid of him in January, and now he's your starting left winger. I don't get that. You see how Rashford's playing with Aston Villa, his debut against Ipswich. He was their best player. It just doesn't.
he's better than
I
Garnacho.
don't know.
Put in
I
the
don't know.
left.
This is your version of Liverpool. I keep saying it. This is your version of Liverpool 1990 to 2020.
It is.
You're in and around the pre-Rafa Benitez, pre-Gerard Houllier. You're in the late 90s. Well, United were winning everything in sight. Liverpool were in the dregs of 8th, and this is where United are at now. This is your turn, and
Yeah.
you better buckle up for the next few years. I'm afraid. I know that's rich coming from an Arsenal fan, but
No. Please, please don't say this because you're from an Arsenal fan. It's you keep it real always, man. You always.
it's true. I wanted to know what you thought about my point on the youth thing. Like,
No,
surely, like even not with the history of Manchester United, but surely from just in the context of the game, surely you try something. It was almost like he admitted defeat.
we should have given Cheeto Obi Martin at least 10 or 15 more minutes in the game. I feel that you bring him on 91 minutes. You bring him on 91 minutes later into the game. We have to defend a set piece. What's he gonna do? What's he supposed to do in those 2 minutes? Like, is my question. Like,
So they brought him on at half time. That Hoyland performance.
I can't even give Cheeto Obi Martin a rating. I can't even give him like a number like rating. It's like literally not applicable. He didn't even touch the ball. Couldn't even 2 minutes. We had 2 minutes to defend a set piece, to defend 2 set pieces, to get up the pitch with the ball. United were slow in attack, way too slow in attack, too lackluster going forward. Look, Casemiro, I like Casemiro. I think people are a bit too harsh on Casemiro today. I think he picked up an injury mid-game. He was also on a yellow card because you know how the referees are like with Casemiro and have been with Casemiro in recent times. They book him way too easily. I think they book him way too easily. Madison should have been yellow carded at the halfway line. He should have been yellow carded at the halfway line.
Wait until we talk about the Liverpool game later on.
And then guess what? Once again, same old United turn. We turn up like, like we always do in games, just crumbling after going 1-0 down, missing point blank chances, skying shots, hitting shots straight at the keeper, can't touch the ball in the box, lack of self awareness, getting countered. Tottenham weren't that great today. I'll be real. Tottenham weren't that great today. We should have at least gotten a point or or at least gotten a win, right?
Two extremely poor sides.
Very poor
That's
sides.
mental.
This is one of the worst games I think I've ever watched in my lifetime. Like just as a neutral, like both teams are just so lackluster going forward. Spurs scored off
14th place versus 15th place. That's the quality of football you expect from teams in that position, and that's what it was.
exactly,
There's nothing else to it.
bro. I agree with you 100%, bro. It's just how the Premier League is now is rolling now because look at this. Look from the standpoint, you've got Man City, right, who have dropped this year, and who takes advantage? Liverpool with a new manager. Liverpool, who have chased City down over the years, takes advantage with a new manager. They're about to win the league. Arsenal did not sign enough players. Could have beaten Liverpool to the league. In my opinion, if Arsenal were a bit more consistent, you'd be top by now. You'd be at least on top by 2-3 points right now. You drop way too many points, in my opinion. Right? You've got Chelsea, 2 points off of 1 point. Maresca comes out and says, people can disagree with me all they like. Maresca comes out and says, we're not ready to win the title. We're not ready for title race. Why are you saying that while you're 2 points off the top? It makes no sense. And now your squad collapses. Bro, Chelsea were one of the form teams in the Premier League. They were one of the best teams to watch in the league, and then all of a sudden they just dropped. This is what I'm saying. The standard of the Premier League is also to blame now because so many clubs just settle for so less and so little. Because I'm sat here watching United just they're playing the same football that they have been playing for the last 10 years, sideways, backwards. I remember LBG when he first came in, sideways, backwards, but we won an FA Cup a year later, right? He was doing that because he played 3-5-2 at the start, and then LBG switches to the 4-3-3 later on in his tenure, which worked because we got results, and we won the FA Cup a year later. What does that mean? There's no plan. It's the same football for years. There's no plan. There's no progression. Too many processes, youth projects, all these buzzwords. The aim of the game is to win. At the end of the day, if you can't settle for that, then you can't be. Then I'm sorry, you can't be in the Premier League. Like, two mediocre sides today that I watched. Tottenham being the favorites to win. Fair enough. They got the win. Nobody should care how Tottenham won the game, or Tottenham fans shouldn't care how they won the game. They've been dreadful all season. They can just take 3 points for all they care. They're playing against a really, really poor Man United side who have been in the trenches for years now, for at least 2 years now with Erik ten Hag. Right, Erik ten Hag was the manager last year. We were not in the right state. We were in one of the worst states I think I could ever possibly say as a United fan. This year is even worse. This year is much worse. We're much worse this year than we are last year. Make it make sense.
Bear in mind, sorry, just a quick cut in. When you sacked Ten Hag to hire Amarim, you were 4 points off top four.
I was about to say that. We were literally 4 points off top four when we sacked Ten Hag. And now with Ruben Amorim, we're now 16 points off top four, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Could be even more.
We're behind Bournemouth in the table. They're about to get Europe. Newcastle. We're behind Newcastle. We're behind Aston Villa. We're behind Nottingham Forest, who are in a relegation. Brighton. Brentford. Crystal Palace. Fulham. We're just above West Ham by 2 points. We're below Tottenham.
Below Everton, aren't you?
Everton are above us.
That's insane.
David Moyes has gotten more points in 6 games than Ruben Amorim has in 14. And he's taken over an Everton squad without signing anybody. Zilch. The guy still wants to play his 3-4-3 system. What is system in football nowadays? What is the system? That's my question. What is the system? literally it's not a style of play. It's a formation that you set out for your players. You know, you it 3-4-3 is a formation, not a system. A system is just the way you move the ball, the way you play football.
But isn't the system with Amarim's 3-4-3 having two number 10s in
It's
the winger positions with the inverted fullbacks?
not working. It's not
Well, it's a
working.
system that isn't working. That's the be all and end all of it.
It's rotten to the core. I think I'm not Ruben Amorim out yet. I'm not Ruben Amorim out yet. However, if things start to get worse, if things start to get worse by next year, if things just if things don't improve by January next year, then I will say, yeah, it's time to go. Because okay, this year you can kind of understand it's a transition period for United. We're trying to move on from Ten Hag, building a new formation, this and that. Whether I agree with the formation thing is a different topic. But we're trying to move from Ten Hag. We're trying to move on these players. If you want to move on these players for good value, make them play good, so clubs will want them. Rather than just let them stink out the gaff every week, and no one's gonna want them. We can't offload players. This PSR, and I've been saying this PSR is really ruining the Premier League. It's ruining us. We can outspend anybody on our day. We can outspend any team in the world. We've got the finances. We might be in massive debt, but we can outspend anyone with the revenue we make. Somebody posted this on Twitter the other day. I saw something like some this is the what do you call this was the how do you call it? Let me have a look at this. Actually, I'll bring it out here. Manchester United could have signed players that they wanted to in January. No amount of lies from billionaire owners and puppet managers that aren't interested in spending from their own pocket will tell me otherwise. Total revenue of Manchester United from 2005, 2006 to 2003 to 2023, 2024 in millions euros, right? This is the 2021 season. 558 million total revenue in euros, right? Then the following year, 689 million. Then Eric Ten Hag's first year, 746 million. Last season, we've made total revenue of 771 million euros in total revenue, and the excuse from owners from the Premier and from the Premier League, yeah, to cover the fact that clubs should stop overspending. What is this? What is this that clubs can't spend money? Why can't clubs spend money?
Owners voted for PSR so they could save their own money. That's it.
Newcastle have the world's richest owners in football, or even in sports. Let's just say in sports. Newcastle have got the richest owners in sports. $3 trillion? If I'm not mistaken, are they worth like $3 trillion?
More than that, I should think.
Or 300 trillion? I don't even know how much they're worth, right? But the fact of the matter is, they can outspend anyone. They can outspend anyone, and PSR stopping them from outspending. On Liverpool 7 PSR right now. How much are they over the PSR? How much are they over this financial fair play, bullshit that the Premier League wants to set up? Because I'm sick and tired of this PSR thing. Do you know what I want to do? I want to sign players on top of what we have right now, so that it provides competition in every position, rather than just having to settle for what we have, having to sell and having to buy players. You can sell players, sure, no problem. Replace them with the right profile of players. However, if you want depth, replace them with players, so it provides competition in every position, in every aspect of the pitch, so these players can start performing, rather than just starting them every single week, and they can drop stinker after stinker after stinker, and then they'll still play because there's no competition. There's no competition. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I want to constantly sign players. We don't need to worry. We don't need to sell to buy. We don't have to sell to buy. I think selling to buy is, for me, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. What do you think? because
I think my main problem with PSR is that it stops the smaller clubs from competing, like the way Chelsea did when they got taken over, the way PSG did when they got taken over, and when Man City especially did when they took over. The thing is, you see Aston Villa finishing in the Champions League last season, but because they're not a traditional uh, big club, they're a massive club, Aston Villa. But in
yeah,
terms of right now, in terms of global revenue and whatnot, they can't hold a candle to the likes of United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever. So
oh
they have
yeah,
to
yeah.
sell their best players. You have to sell the likes of Douglas Luiz. I can't remember who else they sold, but Newcastle the previous season finishing
They
fourth,
sold,
they sold Saint Maximin for in order to comply with it. It's
they
stopping
sold
you from competing.
80 million. Aston Villa sold John Duran 80 million, and
Duran, that's it.
he scored a worldie the other day for Al Nassr. I don't know if you've seen the goal, but it was a crazy good
Yeah,
goal.
he's got like 3 goals in his first 2 games.
I was watching it live as well. It was a really good game, like a really good goal. Like John Duran would have walked straight into our team. Would have walked straight into the
And
lineup.
ours.
100%. 100%. Because right now, both of our teams are crying out for a striker. Right?
Oh,
United are
don't
struggling.
worry, we've got a CDM up front, so we're good, mate. We'll catch
Now,
up with the scouts. There's no problem, Macklin.
now we're going to rely on Cheetah Obi Martin for the rest of the season because um, Hoyland and Xerxes are the only two attackers. Like, because Xerxes is going to have to play on the right hand side, or at least the left hand side. I don't know. And then, well, Hoyland's our only striker. We don't have a striker. And I'd give Cheeto Martin a run in the FA Cup. If we can beat Fulham, he needs to. He's a run. Big up, man. Big up, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. This is one of the worst Manchester United teams I think in living history. This is worse than the teams that in the Dave Sexton era, the Ron Atkinson era. Much worse. This is much worse. I don't think we can go um unless until the teams that got relegated. I bet you the team that got relegated even tried harder than this. They gave it all for the badge. This team that I'm seeing right now is something that I've just, bro. We need to bin everyone. Just bin everyone. I genuinely couldn't care less who we sell anymore. It does not bother me. But there is one player that I obviously want to keep, and I'm not going to say his name because everyone knows who I want to keep, right? And unfortunately, he had a season-ending injury. Other than that, there's nobody I want to keep, man. There's really nobody I want to keep, and having to rely on Carrington for the rest of the season is not worth it. It's not worth it. There's no experience, right? There's no like, there's no reason to throw him in. You're just throwing the white towel in right now if you're playing them because we've still got FA Cup, Europa League left to play for, right? Do I think we'll win the Europa League? No more. No. When Ahmad got injured, that was when my prediction completely changed. I don't think United will win the Europa League anymore. When Ahmad was fit and he was still balling out, I was like, okay, we can win the Europa League. We can. My only hope is the FA Cup now. That's my only hope. We can only do in the FA Cup because last year we scumbagged our way to the final and still won it. So we can do with an FA Cup. But other than that, I've got no hope for anything else, Brent. I've got no hope for literally anything else. Because what else do we have to play for other than the FA Cup? We're just going to keep throwing away league game after league game after league game, and what's that going to lead to? Potential relegation fight. Do I want that? Hell no. Everton away next week. It's going to be one of the toughest games of our season. Then the following we've got Ipswich, a relegation battle at Old Trafford. When when did I think Manchester United were going to be in a relegation battle in 2025? I thought we'd be competing for the league right now. When Ten Hag first came in, I was like, do you know what? We were getting results. We were going on runs. We were getting a lot of, I was getting hope. Surely, like when we caught up to Man City and Arsenal, I was like, this team is serious. We're gonna compete again. And then in the summer, we go and sign fuck all, and that leads us to eighth place, one FA Cup, and our worst Premier League season in history. This right here completely eclipsed last season. Eclipses the worst Premier League season in our living history. We've never finished below eighth. When David Moyes took over, we had never finished below third. We never finished below 7th until last year. We've never finished below 8th until this year. My only hope now is us getting 10th. And that is hella sad. Do I want 10th? No. No. This is something that I don't I don't want to be saying. Do I want 10th? Do I want no? It's I want to win the league. I want to win the Champions League. This is why I support this football club. It's Manchester United, like the biggest club in England. I want to be winning these majors. I don't want to be fighting relegation. I don't want to be finishing bottom half. You know, we're just as bad as Chelsea were 2 years ago. We're just as bad as that. We're just as bad as that team that competed 2 years ago.
You're finishing no higher than 10th, while your main rivals are equaling your title record, while having 3 more European Cups than you, potentially 4 if they continue their form in Europe.
And that in itself deserves a sacking from everyone, because you don't allow your rivals to go and do a double, yeah, because they can't win a treble anymore, or you can win a mini treble. It's not going to be called the treble, but they're in the Carabao Cup final. They're going to win the Premier League, possibly, right? Or most likely they are, unless Arsenal do something crazy and Liverpool.
Good luck with that one, mate.
Other than that, I don't see it. Champions League, I still okay. I'll give my predictions later about the Champions League, but I hope Madrid beat Man City on Wednesday and go through, which I think they will. Do I think it'll be an easy game? No, but I think Madrid should do it. At the same time, do I think Liverpool can win the Champions League? Yeah, but do I think they will? Do I think they will? Probably not. Because I think when it gets to the point where they have to compete for the Premier League and the Champions League, it's going to be tough to rotate. Especially we all know with Liverpool squad depth, it's not as great. We all know Liverpool squad depth is not massive. As we've seen before in the past, it's not insane. It's not massive, but yeah. So yeah, continue from what I was saying, bro. I'll be right back in a bit.
Oh, sweet. Well, what else was I going to say apart from it's an absolute disgrace what you've been going through over the last few years. Liverpool, they are going to they are going to equal your title record, I should say. It's an absolute shambles. Finishing no higher than 10th and your main rivals equaling your league title record is absolutely insane. I personally believe I've argued with a lot of United fans on this over the last few weeks about who the biggest club in England is, and I personally believe it's Liverpool. We can have that debate any which way, but I feel that if Liverpool do end up winning the league title this year, which I think they will, when you look at the state of Arsenal's squad and whatnot, I think the debate will be pretty much over, because global fan base size and brand exposure and whatnot. Apart from that, I don't really see any other way in which United are bigger, more FA Cups and whatnot. But that's my personal opinion. People are free to disagree. That's fair enough. I understand arguments for and against it, but in my opinion, Liverpool are the biggest club in England. That's not to wind anyone up, but I personally believe that is the case. And I don't know if you were listening to any of that, but
no, I was.
Yeah, that's my personal opinion. I don't want to wind you guys up. I don't want to wind anyone up in chat.
No.
That's
bro,
just my personal opinion.
I said this myself. I said this in the NBA, right? Whoever has the most titles in the NBA will be the bigger team. And I said the Celtics are bigger than the Lakers. Most people disagree because the Lakers have won more championships in the modern day. Right? That's their argument. But the Celtics still have more NBA championships. The Celtics are my team. If anyone doesn't know, right? We just won the NBA last year, and we're current NBA champions, right? I'm talking about if Liverpool equal or eclipse us on Premier League titles, they're easily the bigger team. I can't even argue with that. It's hard for me to. I don't even think we're bigger than Liverpool right now. If I'm being real, like we don't act bigger than Liverpool. We don't we aren't doing better than Liverpool. Liverpool have been much better than us in the past 10 years. They've been by far the better team in the last 10 years. It's not even close. We can win we can win as much as them, but they've won a Premier League and a Champions League in the last at least 10 years. We've not won anything we've not won anything in the last. Well, we won the Europa League, two FA Cups, two League Cups, and a Community Shield. That's it. That's it. Liverpool have won two League Cups, one FA Cup, one Premier League, one Champions League, and
one FIFA Club World Cup, one UEFA Super
one
Cup.
Club World Cup, one UEFA Super Cup. What else?
That's about it, to be honest. I do think Klopp underachieved with Liverpool. Obviously, not in terms of performances, but in terms of silverware. Because a team as good as Liverpool under Klopp should have won a lot more than what they did.
I think the Liverpool team, right? If you played against Man City, is better. If you talk about when they face each other, I'm not talking about who has a better achievement. No, I'm talking about if you played Liverpool against Man City, like 10 to 20 times, I'd say Liverpool wins slightly more. But that's another argument for another day. Liverpool squad that's not as bad as compared. I'm not saying it's bad squad depth. I'm saying it's thinner, but they've got good players off the bench that can do some good damage. Like they've got some good academy lads that can actually develop.
In comparison to other teams, they've been relatively well off with injuries as well. I will say that
100%. 100%. Their finances aren't as great, but they're but they know how to use it. Excuse me. They know how to use it. Liverpool didn't spend much this summer, but go and look at the window. Go and look at potentially if Salah leaves, if Van Dijk leaves, Trent leaves, if Alisson leaves, say these four leaves. Liverpool will go and replace them with easily really good players. Liverpool will go and sign players like, possibly if they had the money, go get Florian Wirtz. They're the type of team to do such a transfer like that. They are. They'll go and sign a Florian Wirtz if they want. If they want to, their board gets business done fast, anyways.
I know. I don't know if I'd agree with that, to be honest. I don't know if you want a mini debate on that. But I feel like Liverpool, they never buy superstars, do they? They buy average to decent players who they turn world class. You know.
I'll tell you which signing that really impressed me in the Klopp era, Fabinho. That was the one signing I really envied from Liverpool, because I wanted Fabinho. I was a massive fan of. I was like, please get Fabinho in, and United completely fumbled that deal, and Liverpool got it. Van Dijk, another one United should have got. We went for Alexis Sanchez instead. We should have competed with Liverpool for Virgil van Dijk. We should have. Imagine being one of the best defenders in England at the time and playing with Jose Mourinho, the best defensive coach, arguably ever in football history. The defensive Jose Mourinho.
Speaking of Mourinho, Slot has got the second most points accumulated by a manager in his first season of the Premier League. Only Mourinho has 4 more points at this stage in 04-05 with Chelsea.
What do I know?
It shows you what a great job Slot has done. And I think this is a nice little segue into the Liverpool Wolves game that happened earlier on today.
Liverpool had the foundations as a football club, and the players that they already have is supposed to make Slot's job even easier. Klopp's left a good team behind. You know, Klopp did not leave a team that needs to be rebuilt behind. Because if Klopp had left this team in a bad state, Slot would have had to come in and have to rebuild more than what people think. This guy's come in and barely did anything. Didn't even touch the squad.
Take no credit away from Liverpool, though, because they've been absolutely fantastic this year, and they're deserving Premier League champions.
100%.
And Slot is obviously an amazing coach.
No, I agree. I think Slot's come in and made things just more straightforward. Like the football and everything looks more straightforward. With Jurgen Klopp, it was like more heavy metal rock and roll football. But with Slot, it's like just straightforward. You know, like just get it, just play like simple football. and they're
It's
getting
more fluid
results.
to adapt to each
It's
game
more
state.
fluid. Exactly. I'm just watching Liverpool play. It's like it reminds me of when Klopp first came into Liverpool, but he did it, but Slott's doing it so much better. Like that 16, 17 season when Klopp came in, when Liverpool was smashing teams, when they were getting amazing results that year. Do you remember that year?
That
Liverpool were
was
getting
his first full season, yeah.
That was his first full season. But Slot just come in and just elevated Liverpool like anything. Like the way he broke down, the way he analyzed games, the way he tactically broke down games, against that game against United, like we spoke about many times. After that
That's
game,
what I love.
the way he broke down Ten Hag's tactics, I had to give full respect to. Not that I respect Liverpool, not that I respect Arne Slot, not that I'm a fan of him or anything, but I have to give credit where it's due. And he spoke the truth. He's spot on. So yeah. But last few points on United, we'll move on to Liverpool. Because we got to preview the Liverpool Aston Villa game as well. Any more thoughts on today's game? Any more thoughts on Ruben Amorim as a coach? And where do you see it going? Where do you see it going for us right now?
Well, I think I told you just before we went live. Damn, what did I say? It was very unprofessional. No,
that's all right.
What did I say? I completely bottled it. I'm moving like Arteta. So, what on earth did I say?
You said
my mind's gone completely
blank. We have to give him time.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did say. I did ask you, should he be given time after that? I did say earlier on about how I was disappointed with the lack of subs and whatnot.
But I'm starting to really lose it with Ruben Amorim because there's so many times where he tactically just
that was it.
Outclassed.
That was it. I told you just before we went on stream, he's very stubborn and he doesn't adapt. And I did tell you, I think the best managers, even Guardiola is guilty of this. What separates the best from the greatest is that the greatest adapt to the circumstances that they've put themselves in. And Guardiola, to a lesser extent, has also refused to budge. But Ruben Amorim in particular, that system, formation, whatever you want to call it, it's not working. And it hasn't worked since he's arrived. So why are you not settling for something more traditional? Why aren't you settling for something that suits your squad of players more? Because you haven't signed anyone. Well, you've signed one player, one senior player, that suits your system. The rest of them are from the previous manager. They're not going to. It's square pegs, round holes.
Looks a very good player, Patrick Dormer. Very, very, very good player. It looks like he's very good on the ball. It looks like he can go forward with it well. It's about, it's just the tactics. It's like the fullback zone goes to the byline and cross the ball. That was almost the highest I've seen Dalot play for many, many games. I've not seen him play that high up the pitch for many, many games. But yeah, sorry, go
on. In terms of just square pegs and round holes, your players are not suited to that system. Why do you keep doing it? It's a footballing equivalent of self-harm. What are you doing? It's like masochism. It's like Amorim enjoys it. It's almost like he's set out to prove a point about how the players are not good enough to the board and to the fans and to the media and whatever. But it's like we've got the point and you're still persisting with it. Why are you still persisting with it? Because all you're doing is harming the club at this point. We get the gist that the players are not good enough because we've seen it over the last 12 years since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. But you're still, why not just adapt and make the league campaign a bit more respectable? I know it doesn't paper over any cracks, and I know some top Reds will inevitably start thinking, oh, well, maybe we may have turned a corner. But at the end of the day, just why not try and rescue the season the best you can? Get to the summer where you can sign your players and you can play your system. Bin the players that evidently aren't up for it, who have evidently not been up for it for the last few years, and go again, and then we can judge you properly. But right now, look, even now, I'm starting to question the guy, because why aren't you adapting? Same with the substitutes. Why aren't you adapting to the game state? Why aren't you being proactive? Why? You bring a 17-year-old in the 92nd minute. What's he going to do?
Exactly.
I know your bench was full of academy players, but at the end of the day, you've got to try something. And Lindelof. And it's like I said earlier, it's the history of your club. The Busby Babes, the team 10 years later that won your first European Cup, class of 92. You even look at the likes of Rashford and whatnot and what he has achieved, irrespective of how you feel about him. He has achieved a lot in terms of academy graduate. It's in the history of your club. It's your club's DNA. I know it's about winning, but it's in your club's DNA. And I just feel like he completely disrespected your club by not giving any of the academy players a chance.
That's true. Gotta give academy players a chance. No, otherwise, it's
You had no choice.
we have no
You're
choice,
chasing the
bro.
game.
We literally have no choice. It's the season's been nipped in the bud from the moment we kept Eric Ten Hag already. That was the reason why I think that's the day that the season ended.
Exacerbated by the January transfer window.
And we didn't sign anyone in the January transfer window, bro. We should have gone to sign players in the transfer window, and we didn't do that. So that's why. So we messed up there, and we messed up by not demanding more from the board. We should have tried to sell some players while we could. Instead, we loaned out players. And speaking of loan players, Anthony scored again.
Man, it's insane, isn't it? It's your club to a T.
But to be fair with you, though, where was Anthony when we needed him at United? Didn't turn up. So, good riddance to him. Good riddance. Let him go and do whatever he wants to do. Pep changes system every season. Listen, that's what a good manager does. Changes things up when it's not working. If Ruben can clearly see that it's not working with these players, then then in the short term, let's get some good results. Offload these players in the summer with good value. Bring them in. Bring new players in. Replace them with the right type of wages, the right type of quality. Improve in every area on the pitch. Say you sell Bruno Fernandes. Which player would you bring in? Like a realistic player that you think could do a good job. If you had to name someone that was like realistic and that can come in and can do a good job for United.
I know McTominay's doing well at Napoli. You might get. No, but in regards to Pep, I just meant like the constant trying to play out from the goalkeeper at the back. The amount of goals they've conceded from that. I'm on about if Pep. I know he does play route one sometimes, but if he just, like going to Anfield's in an injury crisis and whatnot, and still trying to play the way you have done for the last 4 or 5 years in terms of possession. Like sometimes I feel like Pep has to sacrifice his ego a bit and just seize possession and try and dig out results the best way he can. That's what I meant.
No, I hear it. But yeah, like you said, move on to Liverpool. Liverpool 2-1 against Wolves. I didn't watch the game. You can start, bro. I didn't watch the game.
I didn't watch all of the game because I thought it was a formality until Cunha got them back into it.
And there's a 1-on-1. There's a 1-on-1.
I know. Yeah. I know that you're constantly like. I know you don't like Liverpool, and you do try and play them down a bit, in my opinion. And I know that I'm normally
I don't like them. I despise them.
You despise them.
I despise them.
I'm an Arsenal fan, despite what Twitter and social media tells you. Arsenal and Liverpool, we aren't rivals like that. You know what I mean? I respect them as a club.
You know, guys are not like massive rivals. It's just
we have history, but we're not rivals. It's just social media allows us.
It's just Twitter, exactly. Yeah.
But one thing I will say, that was the luckiest bloody goal they could have scored for the first one, which really annoyed me. Considering if Liverpool did drop points, at least we would have been 5 points behind. I know I've constantly said we're not going to win the league, and I still think we won't. I think Liverpool will win it, but at the end of the day, you do want Liverpool to drop points if you're in our position. That first goal, I just knew it was going to be Liverpool's day. That penalty as well. I think Diaz took a heavy touch, and Jose Sarr still decided to take him out. It's just absolute nonsense. And then in the second half, Wolves piled on the pressure. I think since Opta began in 03-04, that was the first time Liverpool had recorded 0 shots at Anfield, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, with I think Simon Hooper was the referee. Didn't book Jota for diving, trying to con the referee into giving them a penalty. Didn't book Konate for a second yellow for kicking the ball away, which as an Arsenal fan, I have recent history with. Which has cost us 4 points, which would have seen us 3 points behind Liverpool at the end of the weekend. But, that's by the by. and then Wolves missing chances as well. One thing I will say, Liverpool were evidently nervous, and I think the Merseyside derby has got to them to an extent. Even the Plymouth game, even though they rested a lot of players. But that Tarkowski equaliser, I think, really played into their minds in the final few minutes, and they'll be really happy with
what
getting
a
that
goal
free
that
goal.
was! What an
That's
ending
brilliant.
to the derby, proper old school derby. Merseyside derby for me over the years always been Liverpool, but that
It
game
has.
just that game just summed it all up. That was one of the best. That's probably the game of the season so far, in my opinion, at least.
One
That
of the
could
best,
be
one of the games.
that could be game of the season so far. But yeah, yeah, continue what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I've said quite a lot regarding Liverpool. I've just say at the end of the day, still, I think the referee did carry them over the line, which I'm not one to criticise refs, which is unusual for an Arsenal fan and whatnot. But I do think the referee did guide them through it, so to speak. Which at the end of the day, if the referees are so bad in England, it evens out over the season.
It's all good, bro.
Yeah,
Referees are terrible in today's day, anyways. I'm not saying there's the reason why we don't get results, but they give decisions that we don't that go against our that go against our favor. You know what I'm saying?
But at the end of the day, Liverpool 7 points clear. For me, obviously winning the Premier League. They have got some really tough fixtures coming up, and I do think they will drop points. But considering Arsenal have their entire front line out, having to play a CDM up front, I reckon if Liverpool somehow don't win this league title, oh my word, that would be the biggest bottle job in Premier League history, in my humble opinion.
Who would they bottle it to?
Over Newcastle 95-96. What did you say?
Who would they bottle the league to? Is it Arsenal, you think?
I think it would be us more so. Well, I mean, Nottingham Forest, they lost to Fulham at the weekend.
13 points behind already, so I don't think it's them. It's gotta be them. Unless Man City go on an incredible run right now and pick up something, But I don't see it. I think Arsenal finish. No. I think Arsenal are gonna get at least second place. I think Liverpool win the league.
Yeah, Liverpool will win the league.
And hopefully, they let go of these players. They let go of their players in the summer. Do you think? Because I was going to ask you. Do you think Alisson leaves because Mabadashvili is coming in next season? And he's the first choice goalkeeper.
I think he will. I think he will. Kelleher's a brilliant backup as well. So obviously he's not on par with Alisson, but he's still, in my opinion, the best second keeper in the league as of right now. I think Alisson probably will leave and say bowing out with a Premier League title. He'll be on par with Bruce Grobbelaar and whatnot in Liverpool's history as their best goalkeepers. So I reckon they will win the Premier League, probably win the Carabao Cup as well. Be the perfect send-off for them. And who knows what's going to happen in the Champions League. At the end of the day, Liverpool in Europe, you can't count them out. So
if Madrid get through against City on Wednesday, I think Real Madrid will win it. Because when Mbappe,
Real Madrid are the favourites.
Because when Mbappe, Vinny, and Rodrigo will click when they start scoring a lot of goals, it's hard to stop that front three. It's a very fast front three. It's gonna be hard for defenders to catch up in terms of pace. Yeah. So I don't really have much to say about the Liverpool game. Obviously, I didn't watch the game.
You always say that.
I ended up not watching. I ended up watching the game. I have the United game was my first Premier League game since the Arsenal game yesterday. I didn't bother watching any of the games last night. The Man City game, I watched the Chelsea game on Friday night. So that was humiliating for Chelsea. Yeah. That was humiliating for Chelsea. That I don't know. It just summed it all up. How Chelsea lost. How Chelsea lost. The manner that they lost. But we'll get to Chelsea in a bit. I was going to say this. Wolves have blood on their hands for missing that one-on-one chance. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know how he didn't bury that. I don't know what happened. Liverpool obviously got a penalty overturned, and it was the right call. Jota kicked into him while he was going down, so I don't see why that was a pen. But other than that, I don't really have much to say. But Liverpool play Aston Villa next. We'll preview that game quickly now because obviously Liverpool play Aston Villa Wednesday. Wednesday. Yeah, they don't play against. They don't play away in the Champions League, so Liverpool will play the Premier League game. What are your thoughts on that game? what's your how are you feeling ahead of that game? Because obviously you guys need Villa to do a job. You will desperately need Aston Villa to do a job on Wednesday.
Yeah, well,
And
we needed Villa to do a job last season at the Etihad, and Unai Emery rotated his starting 11. Went full strength against us, though. Same as the season before, where Klopp rested all his players at Stamford Bridge to play us on the Sunday. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Emery rotates that Villa team. Honestly,
I don't know. I mean, obviously Villa draw points against Ipswich. Not a great result on Villa's hand, but they've just they're gonna want to bounce back. Obviously, again in the big games, they'll tend to be tough to beat. It'll be tough for them to beat. Obviously, they beat Man City. They what did they beat? Did they draw against Liverpool earlier? Did they win?
no, Liverpool won 2-0 at Anfield.
Liverpool won 2-0 at Anfield. They got a 2-2 draw with Arsenal. 0-0 draw against United. They beat Tottenham, I think. I'm sorry, they lost to Tottenham 4-1 away. Have they played Spurs at home yet? I don't think so. I can't remember. But
Not yet,
other than that, I mean, Aston Villa in the big games, they'll be tough to beat. And do you know what? On Wednesday, why not I just go for it? Why not? Why don't I go for it? I don't care if I get it wrong. 2-1 Aston Villa. Rashford brace. I'll be there.
Fair enough, mate.
We'll be
I'll
there.
go 2-1 with Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, because I think I have a sneaky feeling with Aston Villa still in the FA Cup and we've got the Champions League coming up.
Champions League as well.
Emery will rotate, I think. Even though they've got a Premier League game afterwards as well. I think Emery will rotate like he did last season at the Etihad, which I'm still off over. But I understand why. It's such a dick move, man. Why did you do I know he's a better manager than Arteta and all that. I'm willing to hold my hands up at the moment, but yeah, I don't know why do that, man. Come on. And I reckon he'll do it again.
I think the ceiling of Arteta is much higher than Emery. I think Arteta can succeed more than Emery. I think in the future, definitely Arteta can do more. But with Arsenal right now, with the way you guys are moving, I don't see you guys winning a trophy this year. It depends on obviously the Premier League and what you guys do in that. Obviously, you get consistent results, and if Liverpool drop points, but as things stand, Arteta, he's not won much. But let's move on to Chelsea. But before we move on, people, the 72 of you watching, make sure you guys click the like button, subscribe. The link is on the quote tweet, so make sure you guys click that and head over to the channel on YouTube and subscribe. Let's get to 140 before the end of today. 140 subs, and we'll keep the show going. So 140 is the goal today, and we'll keep on going as we stream. So tomorrow, 140, 145, and 150 is the goal for the end of February. So let's get there, people. Let's move on to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea getting battered by Brighton. Obviously, you were there firsthand.
Well, therefore the FA Cup game that they got knocked out in as well.
Yep. Obviously, you were right. You saw it live. Obviously, you were in Brighton. So, how was the atmosphere like there? How was the Chelsea fans? How was the Brighton fans? Obviously, because the 3-0 game, 3-0 Brighton at home after beating them 2-1 in the league.
In the cup.
Yeah, sorry. Excuse me, in the cup. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, one thing I will say, one thing I did notice was I did get a clear view of all three goals, which I'm happy about, particularly Matoma's first. But in terms of the Chelsea fans, I did hear we want our Chelsea back a lot, and I did hear chants about Roman Abramovich as well. This is 3 months after Chelsea fans singing about how they've got the Chelsea back. Don't worry, I've been there before as an Arsenal fan under Emery. But yeah, obviously at Chelsea there's now this massive discontent there. I think City have leapfrogged them into 4th place. It looks like the wheels are coming off for Enzo. Every time I come on here and we talk about Chelsea, I refer to Leicester last season. They were 14 points clear at the top, and they were lucky to finish first by the end. So I think Enzo does have that bottling gene about him, for lack of a better term.
He does.
Yet again, to the 72 people whatever watching, I am an Arsenal fan, so I know how ridiculous it sounds, but this is about Chelsea, so please leave me be. I want some peace away from Arsenal Football Club for a minute. Yeah, I attended the game. Chelsea were an absolute shambles. To be honest, their disallowed goal for Enzo Fernandez, I didn't really see much wrong with it, but apparently there was a push, so fair enough. They're just abject to watch at the minute. Genuinely. That second half was absolutely terrible. And Jadon Sancho in particular, I was pitch sides for the majority of the second half, and there was Jadon Sancho was on my side. And
Yeah.
I kept peeking over to see how the game was going and whatnot. And the guy in particular was an absolute shambles, particularly for Brighton's third goal as well. I don't know if you saw it, but he completely lost Minter. I think he scored the brace. He scored the third as well. And he was just completely lackluster with the ball. A lot of Brighton fans were giving him stick in particular. Palmer absolutely anonymous as well. I mean, Jamie Carragher only a few months ago. I know I keep citing Carragher on here because I love his punditry, but calling Cole Palmer best player in the Premier League when your own team has Mo Salah in it. He's got one goal contribution in 2025. But lo and behold, he'll score a penalty in the next game, and he'll be in the running to be the UK's next Prime Minister. So what do I know? That's the hype attached to him. And he's a bloody good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a bloody good player. Don't get me wrong. But he's just not turning up right now. And for a player, I know he's ambitious and whatnot, and he is clearly a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he does disappear too much for my liking. He's going to get itchy feet very quickly. Because don't forget, I mean, in my opinion, Chelsea will win the Conference League. But is that really someone suited to Cole Palmer's standards to even look at what Nkuku's done in his career, his standards? No. You look at $2 billion, isn't it? They've invested the GDP of a small country, and yet you've got Robert Sanchez and what was his name, Petrovic as your two main keepers. Nicholas Jackson's out for the season now, isn't he? And now you haven't got a recognised striker.
Almost out for the season.
Really cool. Almost out for the season. I think Chelsea, they're just in a really dire situation at the minute.
They are.
And fair play to Brighton as well. On a little subtopic on Brighton, I think Enzo Maresca disrespected Fabian Herzl a bit in the press conference beforehand, saying, I don't really know his name. I don't really pay attention to the way his team plays. You bloody should have done, mate, because he tore you a new one. That's what I will say. Brighton, wonderful performance. They've bounced back amazingly from the 7-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest. And fair play to them. And hopefully they'll win the FA Cup. Because obviously I study in Brighton and I'd like to see them do well. Norwich and Arsenal have already been knocked out, so hopefully they go on to win it.
Obviously, Brighton are okay, are a good side. Well, do I think they'll win the FA Cup? There's the chance. There's definitely a chance. Obviously, the FA Cup is a one-off game, so you never know who could turn up on any given day. Plymouth beat Liverpool, so I mean, we don't know for sure what results will happen. Newcastle might even get knocked out. Hell, Newcastle might even lose. You never know. Football is a crazy sport. Then Aston Villa, I don't remember who they have at home, but we've got Fulham, and then Liverpool are out. City have Plymouth at home, so crazy results happen in football. I think they're trying to force another Manchester Derby FA Cup final. If that happens.
Oh no, not a third one. Honestly, Christ. At least have another team in it. I think City will win it because Pep needs to win something. Because he's the only manager that's held to high standards in England. All the other managers get a free pass.
I wish we won the very first one. That was one I really wanted to win. The very first one to stop the treble, and you guys should have won the Prem, and Inter should have won the Champions League.
Bloody hell! Fine margins, guys. Fine margins.
Fine margins. Let's fucking go, guys.
Oh God, don't.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, look, Chelsea. Like I said, ever since Maresca made those comments about Chelsea, what's happened to them ever since?
Yeah, in context, like just before they played Everton, if they beat Everton at Goodison Park, they would have overtaken Liverpool at the top before Liverpool played later on. So
Exactly.
the pressure's on. It's like
Pressure's on.
football is best played under pressure. It separates the winners from the losers, you know? And if you don't put them under pressure, you're not going to see who's up for it and who isn't.
100%.
If you tell them that, oh no, if you mollycoddle them and say you're not in a title race, don't worry, there's no pressure on you. The performances are inevitably going to dip, and that's what we've seen from Chelsea.
In the space of 3 games, they were already 10 plus points behind Liverpool. It's crazy. 2 points behind with a chance to go top, and then they go 15 points, almost 15 points behind Liverpool in the space of nearly 2-3 weeks. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's mad because the December schedule was crazy. Obviously, you had games midweek and everything, so that's why I'm saying 2-3 weeks. Because it was 5, 6. I think it was 5-6 games around the Christmas New Year period around that. So yeah, I don't know how long it was, but yeah,
that's one thing I do give credit to Mikel Arteta for, because anyone who watches knows that I have many issues with him as a manager. Of course, I don't know him as a person. Don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
But Arteta would never say that. Like, he literally said, when we're 9 points behind with no front line out, we're still in this. At least he holds a certain standard in that. And that's one thing I will give him. Despite all the frustrations I have, at least he doesn't lower the standards of the players in the dressing room. Until the pressure's at its highest, of course, but that's for another day.
I mean, like I said, Chelsea can only win the Conference League now, so that's all about it. I mean, they're probably going to win it, and fair play.
They will win it.
They should win the Conference League. If they don't, then that's just a big bottle job. Then Maresca should be sacked alone, just not win the Conference League. You can't be 2 points off the top, then falling behind, then not winning the Conference League after all that. So
would keeping Pochettino not have been a better move? If there are any Chelsea fans watching right now,
I think Pochettino was a complete scrub. I think the way he managed Chelsea was poor. Standards were just bad. Hardly won anything. So yeah.
Well, the thing I thought was they had an excellent end to the season, did they? I think they won their last out of their last 11 games or something.
They could have made the FA Cup final They could have made the FA Cup final had the referee given a penalty to Chelsea. Remember, there was a handball. Yeah. There was a handball by Grealish in the box, or was it Bernardo Silva? No, it was Grealish. Sorry, and then they didn't give a penalty.
Yeah, but I think they only lost one game in the running last season. They won all the rest, and that was a 5-0 loss to the biggest club in London. So yeah, I just thought you may as well Enzo Maresca. He's not an upgrade, surely. Pochettino has won more trophies than him, to my knowledge, unless you count Maresca winning them at City under Pep or whatnot. I just thought you might as well have kept Pochettino considering the performances.
No, that's fair.
I'm not trying to wind anyone up.
No, you're not. But I still think sacking Pochettino was the right move, but Maresca was a bit questionable at the time.
Well, at least get a manager of pedigree.
He's done a decent job up until when, ever since they got knocked out of the Cups and ever since Chelsea just followed being 2 points behind and everything like that. So yeah, now you're right. But any last words on Chelsea? Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah. Last word on Chelsea. We know Mike. No, this is what I was going to say. Mike RMFC or CF. He made a really good point. He said, imagine in 2004, Chelsea hire Harry Redknapp after winning the championship with Portsmouth instead of getting Jose Mourinho in. Yeah. What state would they be in 20 years later? They wouldn't be as successful as they were in those 20 years.
No.
So I think yet again, it's just a standards thing. It's an ambition thing that no club in England apart from Man City seems to have. So
that's fair. I guess that's it about Chelsea. They're going to move on to the final segment, which is going to be Arsenal.
Hey, what about Man City, Newcastle as well? Okay,
take it away. You're not.
All right. Well, since I was last on this channel, we have been knocked out of the Carabao Cup semi-final, and we beat Leicester with a defensive midfielder scoring 2 goals in the last 9 minutes. Quick recap on the Newcastle game before I get into the Leicester one.
Yeah.
Yet again, it is more proof that when the pressure is at its highest, we can't compete. We can't turn up. Newcastle hounded us. They parried us. They bullied us. Eddie Howe has the number on Arteta. Time and time again, Arteta's getting out-coached and outclassed by him. And yet again, when the pressure's on, when the margins aren't in our favour, we crumble. But moving on from that, because I don't want to depress myself, going into the new week, Leicester away. Perhaps the most turgid 80 minutes of football I've ever had the misfortune of sitting through. Only helped by the fact that we had 2 academy players on the pitch that would die for the club. 2 moments I want to point out. 3 moments I want to point out from the game. Lewis Skelly, last minute touch to divert the ball out for a Leicester corner when Bobby Decordova-Reid, I think that's his name, had an absolute tackling waiting for him.
Decordova-Reid.
Decordova-Reid, that's it. What an amazing touch on 73 minutes. If Leicester scored there, we wouldn't have won, let alone got a point. And Ethan Nwaneri, special talent. I don't want to overhype him. We've been here with Wilshere and whatnot, in particular, who turned up against the best midfield in football history. But Nwaneri, our only bright spark for the 90 minutes, apart from when Marino came on as well, and Calafiori. That cross for Marino's first goal, absolutely sublime. He had our 2 best chances. Well, he created and had our 2 best chances beforehand, clipping the bar with a long-range curler and smacking the post with his weaker right foot. The kid's something special. Him and Lewis Skelly, we're very lucky to have those 2. On it, the senior players should hang their heads in shame after that performance. Martin Odegaard's absolutely disgraceful yet again. Picked it up in the second half, but he couldn't have been much worse after the first. Raheem Sterling
is a baller. Nwaneri is a baller. Proper player. What a performance. Sorry, go on.
But who isn't a proper player is Raheem Sterling anymore. Raheem Sterling, he's a Premier League legend. There's no doubt about that. I loved the guy when he played for City. Absolutely fantastic.
Or a cult hero.
I'd say he's a legend. His first 3-4 seasons on the Pep, absolutely amazing.
Fair enough.
But he's been playing since 17, and you can tell he's washed now. I still like him as a player. I still like him as a person. But from a footballing perspective, he's absolutely finished. Willian, I've told you many a time, is the worst player I've ever seen in an Arsenal shirt. I
actually disagree. I think Willian was actually quite good for you guys. It's just
no, he was. You were not there, Akevin. You were not there.
I wouldn't. Okay, I don't mean good, but I wouldn't say Willian was as bad as you think he was. I think there's been worse. Fabio Vieira has been worse. I think you've got players like Sabio Conga, Nuno Tavares. They've been much worse. Willian's actually come in and actually not been too bad. I just think he's been misused at times. And there was a time where Arteta brought him on for Aubameyang, which really blew my mind. I was like,
Villarreal,
okay, something's up here. Where it should have been an Arsenal United final, in my opinion, but well.
No, but if there are any Arsenal fans watching, they will disagree. Trust me, because we sat through that. But I honestly think Sterling is just as bad, if not worse.
I think he's the worst signing ever.
It probably is, to be fair. But the thing is, with Willian, he costs about 200k a week, whereas Sterling, the majority of his wages are getting paid for by Chelsea anyway. So, and we don't have to keep him after this season, thank goodness. We never wanted him anyway, which goes back to our shambolic summer. But I've said enough about that. Anyone else? Thomas Partey, he was quite poor. I didn't think he was as bad as people were making out, and I understand why people point him out in particular. But I didn't think, from a footballing perspective, he wasn't too bad. Anyone else? Trossard had a stinker as well until his assist on the second. I mentioned Lewis Skelly earlier. Timber was all right. Marino is our striker for the title running.
Mikel.
Nah, man, honestly. Fair play for getting the 2 goals, yeah, but
Should have got a hat trick and rice
even
against
when
Everton at
we're
the end.
even when we're a consistent Champions League club and we're consistently competing for Premier League titles,
Yeah.
we're still Banter FC. Because how the hell do you possibly end up in that situation? I mean, come on, it is ridiculous. What?
How?
Oh, mate. So we're hoping to chase Liverpool with a front three of a 30-year-old Belgian who's out of contract in the summer, I think, or next summer, who's evidently playing for a move. We've got a CDM playing as striker who was deemed surplus to requirements at Newcastle pre-takeover, and we've got a 17-year-old as well, a 17-year-old kid, and we're hoping to catch up to Liverpool. Yeah, good luck, lads. Yeah, okay. You know what? Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah, enjoy your 20 league titles while it lasts, Sakivin, because Liverpool are equaling that. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to bring the mood down, but you are.
No, bro. It's not. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm so upset about tonight's loss, man.
Yeah,
So upset
fair
about
enough.
tonight's loss, and that's Sterling signing. I called it from a mile away. I was like, Arsenal are surely going to sign Raheem Sterling this summer. There's no way they don't, because I was like, they're always going to sign Chelsea's deadwood players, and
It's
Raheem
ridiculous.
Sterling's been jumping from Liverpool to City to Chelsea. I'm like, okay, the Arsenal's definitely next. If it's not Arsenal, it's got to be Spurs, but it's surely Arsenal. Then he signed for Arsenal on loan, and what? If you guys don't sign him on a permanent, then he goes back to Chelsea. He's been jumping ship. He's been
passed around.
Literally been passed around. How many players have played for Arsenal and Chelsea in like the last 10 years? Giroud,
No.
Aubameyang,
Going back to
Willian,
Petit,
David Luiz,
Gallas, Petit, Lassana Diarra.
like Chelsea, Arsenal have been signing players from each other in the last decade or so.
Nonsense. Ashley Cole,
Willian. No, I'm talking about the last decade. Like, so went from like 2015, Petr Cech.
Check. Yeah.
Check.
Aubameyang. He went to Barca first, but you know.
Auba, Giroud, Willian, Sterling, Havertz, Jorginho.
That's it, Jorginho. Yeah.
Jorginho
hasn't been too bad.
There's more. There's another one. I'm forgetting somebody else. There's somebody else I'm forgetting. I said Havertz already, I think. Now there's somebody else. I keep forgetting. David Luiz. I said Willian, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Too many players. We get Chelsea scraps. They get Ashley Cole. What are we doing?
That's like 8 players that have gone from Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal in like the last decade. That is crazy. And you guys are rivals as well. I think you guys are rivals as well. You're supposed to be rivals, and I think you are rivals, but it's not as crazy as it's not a crazy rivalry, because Chelsea fans and Arsenal fans, they don't beef with each other as much as Tottenham fans, because Tottenham fans are just mouthy for absolutely no reason. Like,
no.
Congrats Tottenham on the win tonight, but you still don't have a trophy. Like, I can still banter you about trophies. I don't give a shit. I'm still
I get sick from this in real life, because I don't hate Spurs as much as I do the likes of United and Chelsea and whatnot. Because at the end of the day,
Tottenham not your rivals, but
Spurs they win nothing, you know, and
yeah,
Chelsea and United they win the trophies that Arsenal need to win. Yeah. So that's why I dislike, you know.
And
like, people criticise me, but Tottenham are a derby, and on match day I hate them, but afterwards I don't really give a shit about them. Yeah.
Of course. So. And the thing is, Tottenham, right? You weren't cheering for Tottenham like how Arsenal fans do. North London United, you weren't doing all that shit when Tottenham were playing Man City, were you? Obviously, you wouldn't cheer for Tottenham. You wouldn't.
Yeah, I did. No, but that's the thing, because obviously I wanted Arsenal to win the league and whatnot.
But you weren't like shamelessly like, oh, North London United. No, you weren't being.
No, I wasn't. No. I was like, fuck that. But just do the job, please, because I'm starving for like 20 years without a title, man. Please. But I mean, they did the same in your treble-winning season. All they had to do is make you drop points at Old Trafford, and we would have won it. But, you know, and if Arsenal were in the same position, I would have wanted us to lose as well. So I have no hatred for Spurs for that because I understand it. But that's Son. Oh no, I don't get me sidetracked. All right, let's just continue with the stream.
No, I
Oh,
hear it. Obviously, because the thing is, like, Arsenal Tottenham is a great game to watch, as always. I always love Arsenal Tottenham games. Like,
it's entertainment.
especially, it is. But to call it like a massive rivalry compared to Manchester Derby, compared to
Not anymore. Not since Sol
United,
Campbell's.
United versus Leeds. United versus Leeds is still a massive game. It's still a massive game. Both sides despise each other. Like when United go to Leeds, I remember during 2022, they were throwing stuff at Elanga. There were Elanga scored the winning goal and stuff like that. Elanga was celebrating in front of the Leeds fans. So Leeds is still rivals. Leeds is still our rivals to this day.
Massive rivals, yeah.
Massive, bro. Roses Derby is massive. You've also got the which other game? Which other rival? Sunderland Newcastle is a proper rival. It's a proper derby, and hopefully the Merseyside derby gets back to what it used to be, because I loved that game. I loved that game last week. It was a proper game, and
the game at Goodison last season. That was good.
I want to see more of this in Merseyside derbies, and obviously you got Manchester derby. Like that's the number one derby for me in England, because obviously you see
Manchester United, Liverpool.
I don't really.
Two of the biggest clubs in England.
I don't really call it a derby, because they call it.
No, not a derby.
No, it's a derby. The biggest rivalry is surely United Liverpool. Nothing is matched. But
and Celtic Rangers, if you want to go to Scotland.
It is. Yeah, Celtic Rangers, and Celtic just overtook Rangers in trophies won in history of football as well. I think they're one league title short of Rangers, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah. And they're about to equal it.
They're about to equal it, and Celtic will have more. So Rangers can, Rangers are just like, I think Rangers fans will be obviously they're upset, and that's another rivalry. Cardiff Swansea, is that even a rivalry? Is that even?
It means a lot to the locals, and that's what it means most.
It means a lot to the locals, but obviously it's more. Obviously United Liverpool, and then United City, and then stuff like that. Then United
Birmingham Aston Villa. That's
a derby as well.
That's a proper derby. I don't know if you remember Jack Grealish getting his head punched back in 2019.
Oh yeah, I did.
Proper English rivalry, that is. I love.
Do you remember the obviously? Do you know it's another one that England Scotland is
when they celebrated the 0-0 draw at Euro 2020. I remember. Yeah.
When the Scots travelled down to London by train, they were trying to raid the city centre and all like that. So I don't know.
First ever game in football history: England 0, Scotland 0, 1872.
That's the first 0-0 since then.
No. That was the first recorded game in football history: England versus Scotland 0-0, 1872.
Oh wow!
It was either that or 2-0 England.
First ever recorded game.
Yeah.
Mad. Now I hear it's just the football rivalry for me has died down. Like for me, from what I saw today, obviously United Tottenham were not rivals, right? But I saw so many players. Oh, I'll help you up. Here you go. I'll pat on the back, high five, shake hands. It's a fucking football game. Just get on with the game. Why are you so respectful to them? Just get on with the game. You act like such a small club. Nobody needs to care. It's a football match. You show your respect at the end of the game. You shake hands. During the game, you don't give a shit. This is where for me football rivalries died down massively. Like Arsenal West Ham is also a slight rival. Like for me, it's not a massive rivalry like that, but it's also a rival.
Like West Ham are more focused on Spurs and Chelsea, to be fair, and Millwall.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe Wimbledon. I'm not so sure, but
well, might as well. Why not? Might as well go to war with everyone. Fuck it.
MK Dons.
Oh nah, MK Dons versus AFC Wimbledon. Now that's a big one. I don't know if you know the history of that, but
if you know, people. These two.
If you know, you know. That's all we'll say.
If you know, you know. They were just what you call one happy family, and somebody decided to just dip. Somebody
Exactly.
decides to dip and buy a house in the hills. Let's just say it like that.
Disgraceful. Disgraceful what they did. Absolutely disgraceful. Bear in mind,
That's
Wimbledon won an FA Cup fairly recently in football terms, 1988 against Liverpool. Big club, and the fact that they just did that, that's nonsense. That's a rivalry
yeah, but
and a
this
derby.
is this is what I mean. Like I don't like United Liverpool is not a derby; it's a rivalry. Manchester
Yeah,
derby for me over the years, like you had United City FA Cup finals. You had classic games. That's why I think United City for me is the best derby. It's the biggest derby. But in terms of pure entertainment, I think Arsenal Tottenham game is a really pure, like in terms of entertainment. Yeah, for sure, it's a massive game.
fair enough. Any
But
more
yeah,
to talk about Man City, Newcastle? Oh.
oh yes, I completely forgot about Man City Newcastle. Yeah,
That was a
City
3 o'clock
Newcastle.
kickoff in the UK, so I couldn't even
Yeah, it
watch it.
was
I had to watch Crystal Palace Everton instead.
Omar Mamouche getting a hat trick on his what on his third game in the Premier League. In his
Third,
third Premier League game, Omar Mamouche getting a hat trick
fair play.
before Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford in the Premier League.
And Saka, to be fair.
Rotted, bro. There you go. That's a good signing
Love
right there.
Saka.
Omar Mamouche. Nah, Saka will definitely get his hat trick, 100%. He'll definitely get his when he's back fit. And Mikel Merino nearly got a hat trick.
Hey, let's think about our striking options for best.
If Rice didn't mess up at the end, Mikel Merino was getting his hat trick.
Insane, honestly. But regarding Newcastle, that was well disappointing.
Yeah, I heard Newcastle played terribly.
They were awful. They backed out of every challenge. If that's their showpiece for how they're going to play in the Carabao Cup final, Christ above. Hopefully they turn up for that.
And apparently, Kusanov caught up to Gordon or something like that. Was it like a run from like where he made a really good tackle on one of the City players? Newcastle players.
I haven't seen that.
Son Marmouche, Kusanov. You know the
centre back. Uzbekistan.
He caught up to one of the Man City players. I'm not sure who it was. Sorry, the Newcastle players.
So I didn't see the entire game. It was a 3 o'clock kickoff.
Fair. Yeah, because they had the blackout.
I don't know why.
England,
yeah,
they had the blackout in England, but obviously, look, Man City are rolling. They're gonna get results. Hopefully, they don't beat Real Madrid on Wednesday, but we'll see. I hope it doesn't happen, and hopefully Real Madrid wins.
Real Madrid will go through.
I really hope so. I hope so. City getting a good win against Newcastle, but obviously going away to Madrid should be tough. Hopefully Real Madrid do win that one. I don't know which City will turn up on the day, but City should definitely try and bring their A game to the Bernabeu. 4-0 win against Newcastle. I don't think City fans could have asked for better. That was a very, very good win. Very, very
fantastic
good win.
I didn't expect it either after the demoralising defeat against Real Madrid.
I thought Newcastle were going to win, bro. I thought Newcastle were going to win.
So did I.
I thought Newcastle were going to go to the Etihad and win. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought Isak was going to turn up and score 2 goals, But I never thought City would win because obviously City are not having a really good season. They're having like a really on and off season. They're getting results here and there, but they're getting battered some games. They're not consistent enough. It's a really inconsistent game. It's a really inconsistent season for them. They were 2-1 up against Madrid. And then they fumbled 3-2 in the dying minutes. Brahim Diaz not celebrating, and then Jude Bellingham goes in next to the winner. This is what I'm saying. I think Man City they've been inconsistent all year, but we'll see what happens on Wednesday. City play Liverpool in the Premier League next. Now that's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be massive in terms of your title aspirations, because you need to hope for at least a draw, or a City win. For you guys to potentially, do you guys have West Ham at home on the weekend? So maybe you should try and get a win there. Obviously, you play before City Liverpool, don't you?
Yeah,
You played before,
3 o'clock kickoff.
that's more pressure to Liverpool going away. Obviously, you gotta hope with the Aston Villa game as well on Wednesday. You better hope with that game that Liverpool don't win that game. At least maybe Villa win. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But what are you saying? Like City, how do you see them for the rest of the season now? Obviously, with that result.
Well, I think I've told you before in terms of the season. I know this is very hypothetical, but I think they will win the FA Cup. I think Pep Guardiola has to win something. They've got Plymouth in the next round. I think they've got 3 routes to the quarters already. I think they'll leave everything they've got out for Madrid. They'll put every last bit of blood, toil, tears, and sweat into that game. And if they don't manage to go through after that, I reckon it will be quite demoralising. Therefore, affecting their results on the weekend and against Liverpool afterwards. Yeah. Well, regarding City, I think they'll get top 4. I think Chelsea, they've been an absolute clown show for the last few months. Again, no offense to Chelsea fans. No, but Bournemouth, I don't know if they'll keep up. Same with Nottingham Forest to an extent. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've been fantastic this season, but at the end of the day, there's always a doubt in there. Then again, I doubted Leicester in 2016, and look how that worked out.
I think, Sorry, continue what you're saying.
Oh no, it's just I think City will finish in the Champions League places. And bear in mind, I think as it currently stands, there's about a 90% chance that the top 5 in the Premier League finish in the get the Champions League places. So the top 5 of the Premier League will be in the Champions League next season. So I think City, they've got that safety net. But I think they'll finish in the Champions League anyway.
Say a world where United win the Europa League. Does that mean 6 teams can go to the Champions League?
I think it would, yeah. I'm not too sure how it all works. They've made it way too confusing and convoluted.
I think City gonna aim for the top 4 this season. I think do you know what it is? I think Pep Guardiola obviously try and go for the FA Cup and try and do something on Wednesday. But if he fails to do so on Wednesday, then City gonna go for top 4. They're gonna go all guns blazing in the top 4. I think the thing is, I think City fans won't be as bummed if they don't win anything this year, because they've been winning for how many years straight now. So I don't think City fans will be as they're gonna be like, okay, this is more like a transition season for us. They're not gonna be as bummed if they don't win anything. They know how bad they've been this season, or they know how inconsistent they've been this season. They know they've not been great. So I don't think they'll be bummed if they don't win anything, but they're still gonna want to go for silverware. So I agree with you. I won't be surprised if City win the FA Cup, but if they don't win it, it doesn't surprise me either. I think they're gonna go for top 4. That's what I think they'll do, because they need a massive summer clear out. They're gonna go crazy in the transfer window. I think City are gonna want to go crazy. I think they're gonna want to go and splash as much money as possible on big players and replace and rebuild a new squad. Whether Pep stays or goes in the next year or so is a different story. He's preparing for the new manager this summer. This is where he builds and leads it to a new manager in maybe 2-3 years time. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, any last thoughts on City?
Just they'll get top 4. They'll win the FA Cup and they'll be knocked out on Wednesday. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Obviously Everton won away at Crystal Palace. West Ham lost at home to Brentford. Southampton lost 3-1 at home to Bournemouth. Fulham beat Forest. That's a shock.
Yeah, my boy
Smith Rowe should have kept him. Should
have done PSR and whatnot.
And Calvin Bassey scoring for Fulham as well. Chris Wood for FPL, we'll take it. The goal. But
I gave up on FPL months ago. Saka's still in my team.
Aston Villa play Liverpool on Wednesday, because I think they're playing Liverpool playing Carabao Cup, so I think they moved the game to a bit early, and then Newcastle will have their double game week soon. So Isak will play Isak will play double game week. I didn't triple captain Salah this time. I'm waiting for that Southampton game at home to go all out for it. That's where I think
1-0 Southampton.
Oh please, oh please! Remember that Dejan Lovren winner in 2013?
That was Liverpool's first defeat that season, wasn't it?
That was Liverpool's
every bit as damaging as the Gerrard slip. Yeah.
Yep. And Gerrard kicked into the roof of the net as well when Lovren headed it in. So And that was the first year of goal line technology, so it would have gone in regardless. So I think. But yeah, I think any more thoughts on the Premier League before we wrap it up?
No, nothing much. I was going to ask. Basically, there is this live blog that I have
Yeah.
written, right, as part of my uni course and whatnot. And if I get enough views, I'll be able to work in the press box at the Brighton game. So I was hoping if I could just put the link in the chat.
Oh,
And
please, please.
anyone who wants to reads it, it is very bad. But if you
Please, no.
guys do want to support me in that, I know it's quite selfish, but I would
Please
much appreciate that.
enlighten yourself. Enlighten yourself. Go, promote this, man. It's massive.
Thank you very much. I'll just put the link in chat.
No,
Obviously,
of
my
course.
Twitter's there as well if you guys want to follow.
I don't know if I can leave the link in the chat because I'm not monetized yet, or I'm not really like.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
So I can, but if you like to show it, I can definitely like leave a link. I can definitely share it on the Twitter or something like that if you want.
That would be fantastic, mate. Cheers.
No,
I know.
all good,
I
man.
understand it can appear quite selfish, but
Sorry, what were you saying, Sam?
I know it can appear quite selfish on my part, but
No. Please promote yourself. If you ever have to use my platform to promote yourself, go ahead, man. I'm always welcome, always happy because you've been a real one. Obviously, you've hopped onto my channel for a long time now. Obviously, it's been good, and definitely do go check his channel out. Do go check his blog out, and definitely do show us some support. Obviously, I will share it when I can.
Yeah.
And obviously subscribe to myself. The link is in the quote tweet. There's 80 of you watching. Click the subscribe button. I could probably reach 200 subs by now, people. So if all of you subscribe, 200 is on the cards. But let's get to 140. Let's get to 150 the next stream, and so on and so forth. So people, 135 to 140. Let's get subbing. Smash the like button. Make sure you guys leave a comments in the chat. Make sure you keep respectful as always. Obviously, Josh, we're waiting for your YouTube channel, so I'll definitely promote your YouTube channel as well if you'd like. If you want to set one up, I'll definitely help you with that one as well if you want.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'll definitely I'll tell Lee Gunner this guy is coming to replace you. No, I'm kidding.
I won't go that far, no.
Nah, shout out Lee Gunner every time though. But yeah, I think we're going to close up today.
Yeah, just a bit of context. It's a live blog for the Club Brugge Atalanta game that happened in the Champions League in midweek. Very controversial decision at the end regarding the penalty decision.
Tell me the link. I'll share. I'll try and share it right now.
I've put it in chat. I don't know if it will work. I don't think it has, but I'll send it to you outside of the stream, and
where
it'll be very much appreciated.
Is it in private chat or is it?
No, it's in the public chat.
I haven't seen it yet. Is it on Twitter or is it on YouTube? I've not seen it yet.
No, it's on YouTube.
Okay, let me try and see. A minute. Let me just quickly have a look.
It's just a little thing so I could work in the press box for Bryson, and whatnot.
But yeah, make sure you do so. Make sure you do so when you can, people. Always, obviously, Josh has been on the channel for a long time, so make sure you guys support him as well. Support myself, and I'll definitely share it on the Twitter link as well if I can.
AN Sports is the main priority, though. Don't forget.
No. We all are a priority. You know what I'm saying? We're all equal. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna.
All men are created equal.
I don't want to put myself above other people like that. In terms of if people want to promote the stuff on my channel, go ahead. You use the platform to do so, and I'll happily share it. My channel comes right after the guests and right after the people. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But I guess that's all we have today. We're gonna wrap it up here. Check out the channel. Check out Josh's blog. I'll leave the links in the title. Subscribe to my channel. Let's get to 140. And I think that's all we have for today. We're gonna close out because If I go on and on and on, United are going to make me fall asleep talking about the football club. And it's quite late here, so yeah, I will
I
close
think
out.
Arsenal isn't much better, Akavin, trust me.
Arsenal, do your job next week, please. Let's stop Liverpool winning the league.
Please,
But
lads, come on. With Marino at striker, we can do anything. Christ.
but yeah, we're gonna close out. See yous. Fuck United. Do better next week, yeah.
Come on, Arsenal, bring it to the end.
Yep. And screw Liverpool as well. Hope they bottle it. See
I
yous.
respect Liverpool, but please bottle them.
Ineos out, Glazers out. Peace.